this question, we have to figure out some very important facts. Firstly, according to the information given by the question, we know that the probability that one person's test result is positive equals to 0.1. In fact, one person's test result should only have two possible outcomes. One is positive and the other is negative. And they should be mutually exclusive. Moreover, the sum up of their probabilities should be equals to 1. So now we can figure out the probability that one person's blood test is negative equals to 1 minus 0.1, and that is 0.9. Now let's look at the method 2. In method 2, we have to mix 10 people's blood and test the mixture. If the mixture is negative, then everyone in this group is negative. So we only have to take one test when the result is negative. And when the result is positive, we have to test 10 people's blood one by one. Now we have to take 1 plus 10, that is 11 tests. Actually, in the method 2, we can simply transform the blood test method into the number question. So the problem is transformed. In order to simplify it, we can introduce the capital N, which indicates the number of tests per group we have to take. And remember, we have 10 groups. This information will be used later. Now we have the capital N to indicate the number of tests per group. And in this case, N should only have two possible outcomes. One is when the test is negative, N equals to 1. And the other is when the test is positive, N equals to 11. They are actually mutually exclusive as well. And also, the sum up of their probabilities should be equals to 1, 2. Now we can figure out the probability of n equals to 1. When n equals to 1, that is to say, all the 10% in this group have the negative test results. So the probability should be 0.9 to the power of 10. Now we have to figure out the probability that n equals to 11. Actually, we know that the probability that n equals to 1 plus n equals to 11 equals to 1. So the probability should be 1 minus 0.9 to the power of 10. Now we can figure out the average person per group to take the blood test and the average test we have to take per group. That can be understood as the expectation of the number n, and the expectation of number n should have the following form, that is 1 multiplied with the probability that n equals to 1 plus 11 multiplied with the probability that n equals to 11. And this expectation of n should be roughly 7.5. That should be the expectation and the average test we have to take per group. Remember, we have 10 groups, so the total average tests we have to take equals to 7.5 multiplied with 10, that is 75. So in method 2, we have to take 75 tests on average. And remember, in method 1, we have to test each person's test one by one, so we have to do 100 tests. Actually, thanks to the method 2, we can save 25 tests. That's all. Thanks.